this thing makes you walk. Flattens it. Oh, I just walked it up. Supposed to keep the pressure. Supposed to. It's bad when you might straight through that. My back's, it might even help my back. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, he put me on the antibiotic. He changed it. I've been on my third.
I haven't been acute, and if I don't move them over, I miss them, and I kept on moving yours over.
He put me on one for a while, and I go back, he changed, and I go change. He said, you don't want to take this, get immune. You know, you want to keep, you know, and they cold stuff. I don't know, I go back from an extra. So I don't know, we'll see, Bill.
I see one of my sisters do it, talk about it. I think 3 days later, across the street, all mangled
Dave,
up.
I can have your please get our July council meeting started. We'll have our opening by Sheriff Tyler Hatfield, have our pledge of allegiance led by Ms. Sunny Ray Moorhead, our invocation by Mr. Arvis Bobo.
All rise. Council now in session. Chair Andy Cashin is presiding.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Our kind Heavenly Father, we do thank Thee that we live in a country where we can freely meet and discuss our county's business, and please do help us with our decision making. Give us the knowledge and the courage to do what is right for the people of Moore County. Please do forgive us for all our many sins. We thank Thee for Thy salvation plan for us. We ask for all these things in Christ's name. Amen.
Okay, Ms. Lexi, can you do roll call for us?
John Taylor. Shane Taylor.
Here.
Douglas Carson.
Here.
Katie C. Blackburn.
Here.
Sunny Ray Moorhead.
Here.
Arvis Bobo.
Here.
Robert Broslow.
Here.
Marty Cashin. Amy Cashin.
Here.
Gerald Burnett.
Here.
Jimmy Hammond.
Here.
Greg Gwynn.
Here.
Dexter Golden.
Here.
Houston Lindsay.
Here.
Riley Dye.
Here.
Okay, so we do have a quorum. Should have received in your packet a copy of the minutes from last month. Entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
One set or both sets?
Both.
Both sets.
We have a motion and a second from Jimmy. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We do have one item to add to the agenda. This will be under elections and appointments as number 4. Tamara York for notary public. Is there a motion to add this to the agenda?
I'll make a motion to add her to the agenda.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second? Okay, second, Robert. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. So we do not have anyone for public comment. We'll move on to elections and appointments. We We have Marta Jo McBee for Notary Public, Mary W. Beard, Notary Public, Caitlin Carter Gerald, Notary Public, and Tamara York, Notary Public. Is there a motion to approve those?
I'll second.
We have a motion from Mr. Gerald and a second from Ms. Peggy Sue. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? So under new business, we have the resolution and the comptroller letter for the jail renovation. Is there a motion to accept for the resolution? I think the comptroller letter is there for information, but we do need the resolution to have a motion in a second. Motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
So it was reported on that these jail renovations, ODB renovation, right? But it got circulated in the newspaper, and the ad that was responded to was not posted to the state's website. Reached out to the Tennessee Press Association, so the bid was responded to in April. So it was a March edition, no responses. Then there was an April edition, and that's where we got one bid from. But in that April edition, the newspaper did not submit it to the state's website where it's required to be published in conjunction with it running in the newspaper. So it's Tennessee Code annotated 13120 that says that it's on a statewide website established and maintains a joint venture. Majority of Tennessee newspapers as a repository for such notices and will remain on the repository website for at least as long as it appears in the newspaper. Any newspaper of general circulation meets criteria of this subsection shall have access to the statewide website. So it was supposed to get published to the statewide website. It did not, and then it got reported on in another local newspaper that it hadn't been published there. And then June 22nd, that newspaper had it published and then backdated as if it had been published. So I'm just, like, I called the Tennessee Press Association, they looked into their back end, and it says on there that it was there since April, and she said, no, it got there in June 22nd. So just letting we all know, and now there is a caveat a little bit further down in that code that says an error in the notice placed on the newspaper website or state website or temporary website outages or service interruptions prohibiting the posting or display of such notice shall be considered harmless error, and proper legal notice requirements shall be considered met if the notice published in the newspaper is correct. So that's their out. No one can prove that it wasn't an error with the system. There were several other notices that got published to that site the same day. So all I can say is what it looks like to me is a slip up. But just letting y'all know before we vote on this, that's my rationale behind my vote on this. Is they didn't follow the proper procedure with public notices, and I talked about it earlier. It wasn't. It was on the newspaper or the website. No.
I think we probably need to do roll call for this, Ms. Lacy, since it is involving money.
So, just for the rest, we've already voted this thing in.
Is that just the resolution?
So, if the resolution doesn't pass, it really doesn't, we've already voted the money in, correct?
work incorrectly done, I still don't know what to do with that. I mean, we've already, like you said, we've already voted yes.
I think that was just for information, for you to do with what you will.
Riley Dye,
Yes.
Houston Lindsey,
Yes.
Dexter Golden,
Yes.
Greg Gwynn,
Yes.
Jimmy Hammond, Gerald Burnett,
Yes.
Amy Cashin,
Yes.
Robert Bracewell,
No.
Harvest Bobo,
Yes.
Sunny Ray Moorhead,
Yes.
Peggy Sue Blackburn,
No.
Douglas Carson,
Yes.
Shane Taylor,
Yes.
11, so that passes. Okay, the next thing we have is the rezoning of tax map 010 parcel 019.03 from agriculture, from A1 to R2. This is first reading. Is there a motion for that?
I'll make the motion.
Have a motion, Shane. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Bradley? All right, any discussion?
So I'm assuming this is like the state department or the highway department, as far as entrance and exit.
This one is Rusley Road.
Oh, okay, sorry. I'll go to the next one. Sorry.
Okay, if there's no discussion, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? We'll have to have a public hearing. We have a couple of things, so let's say public hearing at 6:20 again next month. Okay, the next one is a rezoning of tax map 020, parcel 039, from A1 to C2. This is probably the one that you were talking about.
Madam Chair, that should be C1.
A1 to C1, I see that on the resolution, sorry. Resolution says A1 to C1, I was just reading it from the agenda, sorry about that. Do we have a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second. Ms. Sue.
What's the difference between C1 and C2?
Different types of commercial uses. One might be more business related, the following will be more, I think, more things fitted for agriculture. C1, C2 is a little bit heavier.
Yeah, C2's heavier.
Yeah. I can give you
Heavier, what does that mean, heavier?
more things to be allowed.
Oh. It's all right.
There's no other discussion. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? public hearing next month. Have rezoning tax map 037, parcel 0.7 from A1 to R2. Parcel 037 from A1 to R2. Is there a motion for this first reading rezoning? Is there a second? Any discussion?
Madam Chair, we had a special call meeting over this, I call, it's Friday, we'd like to sing that. And what that meeting did was just give a recommendation. We did not approve the preliminary. Anytime it comes here, it's a recommendation, that's all we want, is a recommendation, board, y'all. But just for anybody that doesn't. We wanted to make sure that he had a recommendation, because at the previous meeting, he did not have one. So we gave him one at the special call meeting. This is one of the first, larger tracts of land being listed within the county. There was a lot of confusion on this. Not really. From what I understand from the surveyor, they did not have a book. I'm just going to go off what was in the meeting. They did not obtain our book. They did not have all the ordinance or subdivision rules. We have a 5-acre minimum on agriculture. From what I understand that come to the office from the beginning was this plan right here. There was already a site plan, so there was already survey done. We had, I'll use Jeff Ross as an example. He was brought up in that meeting on, he's done parcels of land with larger lots and things of that nature. He would bring a parcel in because he knew it didn't fit what he was wanting to do within agriculture. And you can find all those through our ordinance book. Again, they did not have that. When they spoke to Christine about what to do on preliminary, she gave them the instructions, which is in our book, to obtain signatures and things that you would need for preliminary, but we never saw a sketch. So we're trying to utilize this as a sketch. Generally, you would have that come in place and have discussion. We didn't have that. They were on the agenda for last month, but nobody was there to represent. We usually do not discuss with nobody there. For one being a sketch plan, if you need questions answered, that's the time to do it. So it was pushed off another month, so there's frustration on their part. And, I do understand, but not having a book, to me, that clears a lot of that. So I just wanted y'all to be aware of what the special meeting is. I also think there was some confusion, and this was on the public meeting as well, about the roads. Shannon, you well can speak on that, but the way we had understood it, had been rezoned on her side, but in fact had not been. So normally, the normal process would be you would come before us, talk about what you want to do. Of course, y'all see, come here and again, when it comes to y'all, it is a recommendation. It's not an approval. Like, we don't approve it, until this board signs off on it. This body, this is the legislation body. So anyway, I'm going to y'all today don't have any questions, I'll try to answer it.
So we're making an exception because they didn't follow all the rules, or?
I mean, there's not an exception to be made, it's just whether, you want to rezone or not. We have a 5-acre rule. This does not fit the agriculture. Whenever this was originally brought up, however long ago it was, we had discussed, what if a parent or a child wanted to give 1 or 2 acres, that was a smaller amount of roads, you could maintain your water, you could maintain your schools. Larger tracts of land come in. Do you want to go to 1 acre? Do you want to stay 5 acres? And to my knowledge, Bill Reader is the attorney, we have that right to vote on changing the zoning, is that correct?
Sure. It's a legislative act, and you're the legislative body.
Okay.
This body.
But this is asking it to be changed to R2.
Which would grant him the smaller lots, correct?
Okay.
But y'all haven't, but it hasn't been through the planning commission
So it's came before us in this state that you see right now, which is already surveyed out, you know, it's already done, like, we never seen a sketch plat, or we never seen something for a discussion necessarily that I know of. I haven't missed a meeting this year.
So this 13.89 acres, they're gonna put houses on that too?
No, what I understand from that, that will go for like agriculture. He has a neighbor there that is a friend, and it's pretty steep terrain, so there's really no development on it. So that would be left just agriculture there. The only development is on the road that you see there.
Well, what about the traffic? I mean, we're all concerned about traffic on everything, so what about the traffic?
I mean,
Is this a state highway?
no, this is on Tanyard here.
So it's a county
It's a
road?
county road.
And it's a big curve right there.
The curve was brought up by me. I brought that up there, that the curve was a concern to me. There was a barn there, and they tore down, and that does help the view shed. It is adding 7 driveways in that curve. This is not just a 1 or 2 track, you know, and again, not to pick on Jeff Ross here, but I think he's working on a subdivision on Pleasant Hill, and there's 5 or 6 tracks up there, and they're all within 5 acres or more. He did rezone, he was in agriculture, he knew his agriculture, he stayed 5 acres.
And there's curves on that road too?
It's in a bad spot, yeah.
Oh, what's the speed limit on that road?
45.
So do we need to correct that if they build there? That's something we need to think about. I'm not saying do it, I'm just saying maybe that stretch would be,
Sure. That's a valid
not the
question.
whole road, but maybe that area right there. Just to,
If they had come to you with a sketch and planning and zoning, you just told them this stuff, the requirements, and then sent them away. I guess the reason that they're here is because they already had it resurveyed.
That's what I understand their concern on their side is they went forth with the effort of resurveying it, you know, busting the lots up, spending the time and the money on their side, which, you know, understand that. But at the end of the day, where I try to fall back to is, if you had looked and you've known your proper zoning, what you would have looked at is, okay, I do not fit agriculture, so before I'm going to bust this up, I need to come and see if I can rezone whatever amount you're going to. You might not want to rezone the whole thing, you could parcel off just that front end and rezone, because of course, it's smaller than what would fit. But with them not having that look and obtaining that information, of course, they've got the effort put out into this now.
If they had shown up with just the sketches though, the planning and zoning, totally, it doesn't meet our zoning.
If they showed up with just a sketch, then we would recommend that they go get rezoned. I mean, we could go over the
so
sketch
they're
plan.
asking to rezone to match their sketch. That's, so it was kind of done backwards.
Yeah. Which their argument to this is there's no rules in place or if you will, writing in the book that says how to rezone. You know, we can get that, but I mean, as far as you know what your zone is, you can call Christine and obtain that. And then once you know what your zone is, how many can I build in this? And you can do the math pretty easily than that. It's not something. Only they can do that as a developer.
They're rezoning all 23 acres, though, right? So that means I don't know what this looks like. They could put houses on the rest of it.
You know, depending on the topography, yes. I mean, we have in there a 2-acre rule if you get too steep of an incline. And then as far as accessing, now you would not be off the roads. There would be, you know, as far as the full set subdivision guidelines, to my understanding, would be curving paved roads. There would be things of that nature that would come into place.
I would understand this better if the contractor hadn't just built houses down the road from us. He's done, to my knowledge, so he should know the zoning planning board.
The 5 acres was after the fact. When he originally built down the road, the 5 acres was not in play. So he would have fit the original zoning from a couple of years ago. So that's where that confusion probably was.
But if they wanted to develop the inside or the middle of that, they would be responsible for the roads, not us.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it would fall under everything we have in our book here. I mean, it's pretty strict on that. But
So if they were to fall under the 5 acre, how many houses could they put there?
I believe he's asking for 6. There's one there now that looks to be remodeled, and it's selling off in a 1.57 acre tract. And then he would have an additional 1, 2, 3, 4 on the road, and then there would be an easement accessing 2 lots behind the Wagner house. So you would have an easement there coming out right next to her.
So could we rezone the lots that definitely have houses as the R2 and leave the 13 as agricultural? Does it have to all be?
I don't know if we legally can ask them to change. I think they have to just, hear whatever the council, Bill, correct me if I'm wrong on this, I'm not a lawyer by any means, but if they're wanting something done different than what they're asking for tonight, then that would have to be.
I think you gotta vote on what's before you tonight.
I don't know.
Of course, you can always vote to amend, but then that's not the request. They've asked for a certain parcel of land to be rezoned, and I think you gotta vote up or down on that one.
And Christine, are you under the same understanding as the 23.25 acres being rezoned? And that's something they asked, but I don't think, as far as here tonight, no.
I was curious.
They voted on tonight, the whole thing getting rezoned as an R2.
I get what you're saying about he built before and things have changed. He's a well-known, the name's a well-known builder in the area, so things were done backwards. And sometimes they'll ask for forgiveness and go ahead and do it. I just feel like if you're doing your due diligence and you're doing building in communities, that you should stay on track with what changes in that community. Because you're putting houses in our community that you're adding families to our community that we live in. So if you care enough about our community, you should stay up to what is in the books.
So we have a rezoning request for this parcel to go from A1 to R2. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
No.
Any opposed?
No.
So, Ms. Lacy, you will do roll call for us?
Shane Taylor,
No.
Douglas Carson,
No.
Peggy Sue Blackburn,
Yes.
Sunny Ray Moorhead,
No.
Arvis Bobo,
No.
Robert Bracewell,
No.
Amy Cashin,
No.
Joe Burnett,
No.
Jimmy Hammond,
No.
Greg Glenn,
Yes.
Dexter Golden,
No.
Houston Lindsay,
No.
Bradley Dye.
No.
So that one failed. Okay, moving on to the highway department, we have a letter about Lewis McGee Road. Do you have anything to add on it, Shane, or? Everybody got the same information about it? Yeah, they just want to take it back private.
Make a motion to drop it from our county road list.
All right. There's a motion from Shane,
I'll second.
Houston. Second. Any discussion? not, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? Next, we have our notice to cease and desist. Is there a motion to accept this, it's not really a resolution, let's see. I guess a notice to cease and desist, to put it in place. Is there a motion for that? Dexter, is there a motion? Is there a second?
I'll second.
Houston with the second. Any discussion?
Who would be the person that would decide to fill this out and send it?
I don't know.
Right now, we're kind of leaning on Christine for that. I guess she would be the one that if this letter needed to be sent out just like we do now. But that might be a good order, like, can Christine legally send that letter out?
What's that?
Can Christine legally send the cease and desist letter out?
She's head of planning and codes. I think if she's authorized by this body to do that,
Are you saying that she would be the sole person to make the decision, or she would be the one to put it in mail? I think that would be, the zoning committee would need to make the decision, and she would execute, would be my thought. Because I think it needs to be on more shoulders than one.
Yeah, I think that we actually discussed it that way last meeting.
It's on the letterhead.
Yeah, talk about that.
So it's the activity from the board.
But it would come, just to clarify, though, it would come from her office, of course, it would be from doing that.
I think if you make that motion, that if it comes before the board to cease and desist certain activity, that in granting that, the council should authorize the codes director to sign the letter.
So you're saying that they would come before the council to have this?
The council has to make the decision on whether or not to issue the cease and desist. But when making that, who sends the letter and mails it is a ministerial act that this board is authorizing. They can authorize that person to do it. But that person cannot on her own or on his own issue a cease and desist order.
So this is gonna come from the mayor's office, it sounds like. If the council is taking action on it, the mayor's office is.
But you would still authorize the mayor to sign the letter.
It says planning and zoning.
I think the commission would send it to this council. Is that what, that's what you're saying, Robert?
Well, I'm just saying, like, it says that it's from planning and zoning commission, not from the council, so that's the, we're delegating that authority, which to me makes the most sense, because otherwise you're having planning and zoning, and then you've got to wait for a council meeting, looking at a cease and desist for something that's.
So would we be calling it a special council meeting just to do this, or, you know, that's the way it's reading right now.
Yeah.
That's what the lawyer's saying right now.
No, I'm not saying you'd have to have a special meeting. I'm just saying it has to come before the board.
But it would have to come for us, and if it was something that needed to be taken care of ASAP, then you'd have to call a special meeting. If it was, 20 days till we met with them.
I'm not seeing where the council's involved with this, but I did have a question where it says, describe the illegal activity in detail, and the example given is constructing a deck without a permit. Currently, I think the permit to build a deck or add on.
Is that an example on that?
It's the example.
Yeah.
So that's my question. Currently, you have to determine if you're adding more contracts.
Well, I think you can go look it up in the code, just for an example.
I'm saying if it's not currently in violation of our code, then we shouldn't use that.
Well, I don't disagree with you, but the idea of the letter is that we have something as a template to put in as something that we need to send to someone if they are violating any of our codes. Whether it's got this, we need to make sure, I agree with you, we need to make sure that is one of our things. If it's not, change it to something that's a violation of our codes. But the idea is that we have a template that can be sent out for people who are violating. Now, whether it goes on letterhead that is from the Planning, Zoning, and Building Department, from the commission, or if it comes from the mayor's office, does it matter what the letterhead says if the authority comes from this body and gets executed from the mayor's office? I got you. Are we just voting if this paper is okay to?
That we are
fill out?
putting a cease and desist procedure in place. Yes.
This paper would be okay for them to fill out.
Doesn't sound like a procedure.
Get rid of that later.
So then we need to lay out the procedure for
I think that needs to go back to your policy committee, policy board, and they need to work out a policy and procedure and bring it back. Otherwise, this is the template.
Yeah, as far as just in discussion, this can go back, we can send it back to planning, we can, we vote tonight on it, you can go back, and we can add to it, give us some recommendations, and we can do it, you can come back next month.
We can vote this in and then change as we go.
Or you can make
Recommendations.
no one said, we have a motion and a second for this. You can vote however you want to on it. It can pass as is, if that's what you so want to do, or you can say no, and then we can make recommendations. So,
I got one question.
yes, sir.
So if we're gonna put this out there, that the planning and zoning, Ms. Christine, I think it needs to be clear that the mayor's office and this board is gonna have this planning and zoning back, because there's been threats made to get sued. I know there's some emails being phones, all that, so I wanna know that if this goes forward and we have something in place, that the planning and zoning is not just out there hanging in the wind.
I agree.
I mean, especially Ms. Christine and the rest of these guys in this planning zone. It's not fair that they serve on another board and they're up for a lawsuit for bringing stuff to us. So if that's not in place, then my vote's no. So I don't know what the rules and regulation is on that.
Madam Chair,
I think the council ought to address that.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, the current, now, it is customary that Christine sends letters out when there's things happening. We've had this discussion before. And then something come up about the cease and desist. I voted against it because we're already sending letters, which is what this is. My question is, maybe to clarify what Mr. Bill was saying, if this board passes this letter, and we accept this 4/4 of a piece of paper, is who's authorized to send it? Can this board not delegate Ms. Christine to send that with a simple motion? Is that allowed?
I'm thinking right now. To be quite honest with you, Shane, I really would prefer to go back and look at the powers of the Planning Commission again. To see exactly what powers that is conferred upon them in the
Thank you for clarifying that. So
Charter.
what we have right now then is we still send letters when things happen. This is just another letter.
That's true.
I mean, you go back to the extra set, planning and zoning's a recommendation for it. And you go along with what Greg's saying, it would need everything to get approval to send this letter. Is that what you're saying, Greg?
Procedural.
Procedural, yeah.
Procedural issues, and in my opinion, we've got the authority to authorize it.
Madam Chair, I prefer not to be the one that sends out the letter. I do believe it either needs to come from the mayor's office or from this council.
Noted. So it sounds like we have a recommendation, Mr. Reader, about maybe,
Well, I would say, most everything that I know of, when a board like this makes a decision to do something, you authorize somebody to sign the letter. Most cases, that comes from the mayor's office, if not all cases. But you could, I guess you could do it, put a codes director with that, but the codes director doesn't want that authority, and I can understand why. I think it'd be more appropriate to do it from the mayor's office.
But would it still come before this board before it's sent from the mayor's office?
They recommend it, I mean, Dexter, these guys, gals, knows those books better. They recommend it, I think it goes to the mayor's office, just in my opinion.
I'll be happy to give you a memo on that and outline where I think under the current charter and everything it would have to go for you to adopt how you want to do it. But as I understand it, the only things on the floor right now is not the procedure for sending this out, just the general outline of the letter.
The only question is about sending a letter. If there's no procedure to send a letter, how do you approve a letter?
Well, I do think you need a procedure.
which is what Mr. Robert was saying, that if we have the letter, we need the procedure, which is why I said, I think that needs to be worked out before it comes here.
There's a space back here that says amount of fines and things. Do we have a list that we go by for fines and attorney fees? Because that's gonna have to be filled in. So I think we need to rethink some of this, is what I think. And I would be entitled, or would like to see it go back and let's try to figure this out to where nobody is the only one that gets in trouble if something goes wrong. I think that should be on the whole committee's back, not just one person. Now, that's my belief.
I don't disagree. So, we have a motion and a second for this letter. All in favor say aye.
I'm all right.
Any opposed?
Opposed?
No. Okay, so I think this goes back for some work before it comes back to us.
I mean, would say we need a procedure to go with the letter. I mean, we're sending it back. We can't just say no. We need to give them what we want.
Exactly. And
That's
each
all we're here.
procedural, where it goes to, who has authority, who we're granting authority to.
Well, and what are the illegal activities he's talking about? Because I don't know what code, we don't have any codes, right? So what are they gonna write them up for? So this is a piece of paper just to. We don't have any codes.
When will you bring this up here next
I'll
month?
bring it up at the next planning meeting in August.
I'll be willing to be there. I'll help all I can.
Appreciate it.
All right, moving on. We have second reading of rezoning map 025, parcel 010 from A1 to R2. Is there a motion for second reading?
Make a motion for second reading.
Second.
Any discussion? Not all in favor say aye. Any opposed? Okay. All right, you should have received in your packet a copy of the building permit report. Again, this is just for information purposes for you all. Do we have other committees who need to report?
I do have to. Just to kind of highlight back on some other stuff that we've been dealing with. And I know every different board has their own sets of problems. I do. I know it takes the whole team to do something. So thanks to everybody for what they're doing that. But I do think the planning and zoning has been hit hard over the last couple of years. And Christine has fought through this really well. This is not something that you just learned overnight. It's still a learning process every month. I think she does a fantastic job, and her office, and they try to answer the questions to the best of their abilities. But whenever you have developers and people coming in knocking down the door needing it right now, a lot of times people wait till the last day. We've actually put in place, like it's 48-hour grace period for her to review certain plats that come in, because some of these drawings can be complex. You know, if you're not in some of the way it's laid out, you want to make sure you're answering correctly. Yes, we have a checklist on our preliminary and final construction plans, but it's a lot to answer with phones ringing. It's just her and her helper in there, so anyway, I just want to take a minute to show that. But with all the development, and not talking about what's at the table now, I'm talking about from this moment forward. You know, I wouldn't be totally against the moratorium on large development until we can get something settled with the multiple things we have going on. I mean, just to kind of step back, because her office gets beat up pretty hard. And I mean, it is a concern whenever you get called and you're threatened to be sued, or they're not happy because they didn't get what they want, and maybe they did or didn't play by the rules. We're all humans. You know, you gotta be able to depict that, along with having a full-time job. And I'm not trying to make excuses, we signed up for it. I know, but the last few months or a few years in that office has been good. I'll just say that. If we have books in place, I wish we could put that out to everybody. I wouldn't be against maybe looking at putting some of this online. I mean, we're a small town. It looked to me it's pretty easy to have and go and obtain most of the time. If you go into a town, you know, you go to that municipality and you ask them, what can I do in your town? Just like Bradley was saying, if you come here, you want to try to be on the up and up. You know, sometimes that happens, sometimes that works out, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know if y'all would even entertain a moratorium on any development. And again, not what's here at play, or the considerations of what's here. I'm talking about anything new going forward, maybe from August on, you know. So not take on the table, but that's something y'all would consider at all.
What would the motion be?
Is that something that we can do locally?
And you couldn't do anybody that's applied or, of course, in play right now. You know, like basically what you see here tonight, of course, it wouldn't apply to them.
Anything August?
Yeah, anything going forward that we have no knowledge about or anything like that, in my knowledge, you could do that, give yourself 6 months to kind of get caught up. We're still going through the book. Again, I fully believe these books were wrote, no intention of the amount of growth we've had in Tennessee. You know, I don't think anybody saw that coming. I know the water department is in looks to buying land to, you know, expand our treatment plant. And I know I've pitched that concern several times about water and school system. You know, are we growing too fast? And I think all of Tennessee can be considered growing too fast. I don't think property tax is the ultimate say to say you just bring in more residents and everything is cheaper. No, it puts that much more restraint on everything you have and just reality. That would be something I would like to talk to the board about, kind of get their opinion on.
So, sorry.
What are you calling a large development? Say over 3 or 5 or 6 houses, or?
We could say, you know, whatever y'all would recommend, but I would say look at a major subdivision. Look at any new industry. You know, me and Shane have talked a little bit. I mean, there's hopefully, you know, we'll get it to Bill, you know, that we can pass it with like a resolution on what you want in the town and just automatically kind of put a blanket statement on it. I don't know if that's allowed for certain industries and commercial uses, But as far as a moratorium on major subdivision development, I would use the major and go off of 5 or more. Just say no to that for, give it a few months, give it 2 months, 3 months, kind of get caught up, maybe get ahead of a few things.
I do think putting this stuff online is a fantastic idea. I know that we're working now, apparently I'm getting a lot of kind of stuff out there, but I don't know if this Christine's got enough work full-time yet, but 2 days a week. Tuesdays and Fridays is kind of inconvenient for people looking for stuff, so if they could access it online.
Are you presenting it, or are you making a motion, or are you just?
Really asking, just want everybody's feeling on it, and then I can take that back to the planning. I don't want to make a motion without them being involved on that, discussing, but I would like some kind of feeling to take back to them.
You have my support. Send it back.
Absolutely. I think we need to look at our growth. We have growth quite a bit just here in the local area, but at Tennessee as a whole. We've had how many subdivisions go up in the last 30 years here in the county. That puts a strain on our school systems, our public service, our water service.
And I mean, I brought this up in the planning, and I'll say, we have a volunteer fire service too. At some point, they're going to need some help with the equipment. We have a lot of houses within the tax base that I don't know. Originally I brought that up in that water meeting, that those water lines are not really made to support that hydrant. You could handle one house on fire, but you're basically going to collapse the other lines, or they'll be so low you're not going to be able to attack another one.
We've got some old fire equipment as well that we'll get to start looking at replacement. And trucks are not cheap right now.
No. And I mean, we don't have people, to my knowledge, knocking down the door to be a volunteer right now. These are just things within your community we've got to start talking about. Again, with the planning for the 20-year plan, we have a work session coming up, is it the 28th? And we're going to be discussing with the state official, and hopefully get a lot of questions asked, take some good notes on that, of what we can do in the future for some of our books, and that kind of comes with it. We can ask for a moratorium, and just temporary. We got to have growth. We're not trying to stop that by any means, but again, making sure our book is up to date and we're not just constantly getting blindsided by something else.
How would you stop someone from, let's say they bought 100 acres and they sold off lots, and there was 40 houses in them?
I mean, depending on the lot size, would they be able to rezone it? You'd have to go for rezoning.
I mean, but they could still build 100 houses and put it in 100 different people's names. It doesn't have to be just a complex all in one person's name.
I don't think the moratorium is gonna be long enough for all of that to happen in action. You're talking about, I would think maybe at the most, maybe next spring, just to, because not many people are gonna be.
Just a short period of time.
Yeah.
6
I
months
would
to
say
revisit.
extend out to maybe Christmas, but then you're not gonna have a lot of people that are gonna be building in January or February, so I might even say beginning of March. So how about I help and work with you, kind of develop a plan and present it to the council next month, so we're not making, we're not jumping on a decision right now.
And I mean, I really appreciate what Greg says too, because these members are sitting on this board, and you have developers looking at you, and you have lawsuits threatened to you, you have certain emails sent, they want you. It can be a lot for somebody wanting to volunteer their time to try to help their community out. It can be a lot to handle that for everybody, not just the ones that volunteer, for Christine as well. And she sits in that office and has to take the brunt of it when they come in. And there are a lot of towns, to Robert's point, that has a Monday through Friday full-time spot. So, we're just a small town. I don't know if we're quite there for that. Really and truly, we lean on Christine a lot. And I don't think that's what she's wanting to sign up for, is a Monday through Friday. I don't mean to speak for you. So if you didn't have her do it, you have to do it. And you got to hire somebody to do it. That's more money out. Go down a long list of rabbit holes here. Yeah, it's just something, if y'all are not totally against, I would like to take back to the planning and speak on. And bring back something, you know, hopefully go through our work session this month, and we'll bring something back to y'all for next month.
So we need a motion to do that?
No, this is just a discussion, I just wanted to everybody.
Would you just be looking at residential or large scale commercial as well, like putting a halt on large development?
So we
Temporarily for 6 months instead of.
a letter that you want to speak on, a letter that I obtained, me and Shane had spoken on. There was some things.
Franklin County passed, I guess it's an amendment to their resolution, and there were several big things named in there. We talked about it a meeting or two ago, and something Dexter was working on is, you know, writing up, trying to get ahead of some of the things that, you know, so far in building by school and all these things, and I kind of learned about something Franklin County passed that they put it down on their books that these are the things that we're not going to allow, period. It went through their attorney, it went through all the checks and balances, and it passed. So, you know, who knows long-term how that's going to hold up, but they passed it. So I obtained a copy of it and shared it with Dexter, and, you know, we can custom fit it to us.
Well, we'll look forward to seeing what comes back out of that. Any other committees that need to report?
Yeah, you should have all got a copy of the trustee report. There's a lot's been said about transparency and fund balance and all that stuff in the budget. And I just want to point out a couple of things to you. On that general fund, the ending fund balance for this year is $2.3 million. We budgeted $950K, so we significantly exceeded our budget in terms of how much money we are leaving in reserve for the general fund. And I think that could be attributed to the way that our department heads and the way our mayor and all of this council has managed the budget over the past few years. So, and that's been the case every year. So every one of those funds that are shown there, the budget that we set for fund balance was exceeded significantly from what we budgeted, and that's been the case for 10 years. So just want, when people talk about transparency, the other thing you gotta remember is that everything that we produce is online. It's on the state website. The trustee has to sign off on it. The TCAB or wherever it is has to sign off on it. It goes all the way up to the governor's desk. So there's nothing that's being hidden or deceived in all the budgeting and the revenue and the expenses that we produce as a county. So you see all this stuff in the newspaper and online, and I just ask you to pay attention to what the real data looks like. So that's all I want to say.
Any other committees? If not, we will entertain a motion to adjourn. But you, Houston?
I'll second that.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Well, you going?